And also,
is there a podcast?
There is a podcast.
Apparently there is. I didn't even know there was one.
And we must mention the podcast because then people won't know about the podcast. So
What podcast is this?
The New United Stand podcast. And we must remember to mention the podcast. Otherwise, people won't know about it.
Yeah, but I didn't know about it, so you need to mention it.
Okay, right. As long as we mention the podcast, we're fine. Okay. Hello and welcome to the United Stand. It's Sunday Night Live, but it's also our second annual Manchester United Season Awards. We've got loads of things to go through. Best player of the season. Well, we won't do that. We know it's De Gea. But worst performance of the season. Also, Young Player of the Year. Most Improved Player of the Year. Goal of the Year is really interesting because the Twitter poll is different to the website poll and might well be different to Zara's poll and Drawty's poll. But we're meant to have Kev on. He's not on, so we've got Drawty on with us. We're going to fly into things. We will be doing the awards. It's our second annual one and we want you to get involved in that. But first of all, Jose Mourinho, it's our first Sunday show since he was officially appointed, and I want to do a bit of in and out. Not had too much to drink yet, so it's not that sort of in and out, but he's 3 in and outs for Jose Mourinho. Now, some people are getting confused by this, saying, he might buy 4, he might buy 2. I know, he'd probably buy 6, but what I'm saying is, what are his 3 major ins, and what are his 3 major outs? I'm going to start it off, because I need to get the live comments box up, and we'll go to Zara first, because she's prepped this, and Drawty isn't. My 3 outs. We'll go to you, Zara. Come on.
Okay, well, I think first, John Stones. Purely because,
out?
No, in. I'm doing in first.
All right.
Yeah, I'm doing John Stones. Mourinho will have John Stones in, purely because he was that interested into him when he was at Chelsea. He really wanted John Stones. And as well as that, I think Mourinho could really get John Stones to reach his potential. And that'd be really good to see at the club. Griezmann's another one. I mean, I don't know if any of you guys watched the Champions League final yesterday. Griezmann was and Carrasco were the man of that match with Atletico Madrid. And as well as that, there's rumours that I think his brother is a United fan. Correct me if I'm wrong, but his brother's a United fan. Is trying to tempt Griezmann to come over to United, and I know that Mourinho will definitely try and tempt him over because I think Griezmann's really good in the Premier League. He's got that work ethic that Simone's taught him this whole way through, and I think realistically Mourinho will want that. And then Ibra, hands down, I think we're getting him purely because of that interview we had. It was blatantly obvious that there's either something going on that he's coming to the club, or that he really wants to be at the club and he'll do whatever he can to get to the club. But then obviously you have to have 3 players out, and I think that Mourinho would have Rojo, Valencia, and Blind out. I don't think he'd have Jones out, and I don't know what you guys think. I just don't think he will, purely because he might do an Ivanovic thing and make him the right back temporarily. I don't know. I just think that could be the case. Yes. Yes. There's no sound. I can't hear you.
Because I'd hit mute for you. Oh, okay. So that we'll scrub that last minute then. So your 3 ins were Zlatan, Griezmann, and Stones, and your 3 outs were Rojo, Valencia, and Blind. Carrick fan agrees with you. Jack West says English players are overpriced. DN is on the pop because he says Fellaini's got he's a good plan B. United Corner, John Stones is overrated. Let's get Varane. Griezmann is a United fan as well, says Abdullah. The sound is back on. I'm not a silent movie now. Nice one, it's back on. You try and mute something and there you go. But I'll do my outs then. My outs are Rojo, Jones, and Fellaini, yes. How would I ever forget Fellaini's got to go? Yeah, Fellaini's got to go. He's got to go. I wouldn't even forgive Mourinho for keeping Fellaini. Jones has got to go. I think he should give his FA Cup medal to Borthwick Jackson. And Rojo is a car crash. But Drawty, your ins and outs, 3, please.
Well, my outs, they were going to be exactly the same as you, so I've quickly changed them. Okay. Fellaini has to stay there for me. He's the only one who has to go, so I'm not changing him. And then I'm going to go with Januzaj and McNair. McNair, for me, he's not great for me. I don't think he's a particularly decent defender, so I wouldn't want to see him near the team again. And Januzaj, took the big deal in the first place, but he's never going to live up to his billing, and I just think he's got a massive ego problem. So for me, I think he needs to go, and someone more worthy of the number 11 needs to come in. For my ins, I'd go for Marquinhos of PSG. Another ball-playing centre-back, a lot like Stones. It'd be nice to actually see him paired with Stones. Ibrahimovic, absolutely. I think that's it's really a done deal when you look at it. And Çalhanoğlu, free kick specialist, because, Memphis isn't doing the deal at the moment, and we don't really have a free kick specialist. So for me, Çalhanoğlu, he's a box-to-box number 10, a very good powerhouse for Turkey. He's actually scored against England, and I would bring him in.
Yeah, it's interesting. I heard Alex on Twitter before saying a Januzaj. He was talking about a player calling him a Januzaj, and basically 19-year-old. Everyone thinks they're going to be Messi and end up being crap. And then somebody replied and said another player was a Lingard, a local player who gets picked, who's average and shouldn't be anywhere near the team, but because he's local, he gets picked. Maybe a bit unfair. He did win us the FA Cup last week, but I think there's some variety there. I do think mine might be pushing it a bit, but there are players. I appreciate there are players like Powell who've got to go. Januzaj may well go. We've got a very big squad of players that really didn't step up to the plate under Van Gaal, and it'd be interesting how Mourinho deals with them. I'd like to see Fellaini go. I would love to see Phil Jones go, because I just think I said last summer, and I was called out for this, I said he's got shin splints. I had shin splints at 15. You never get over it, and a professional footballer, you start to pick up a lot of other injuries. Somebody said that was nonsense. I think I've been proved right again. And Rojo, just not a defender and not a left back. He's got good ball delivery, but he's just not fulfilled his talent at all, has he? And I don't think he ever will. And I think one thing Mourinho likes is reliable defenders, and I don't think Rojo is. I do agree with what Drawty says about Januzaj, though. When it comes to my 3 players in, you've got Çalhanoğlu, the Mer bloke, Drawty, what's he called? Marquinhos. And
Marquinhos? Marquinhos?
Marquinhos. From PSG.
Yeah.
Yes.
I know you have problems pronouncing people. It's fine. Everyone knows this.
It's all right. Some people, some of them I do on purpose. Cruz, Robban, Mourinho. And was it Zlatan, your other one?
Yes, it was.
And Zara's were Griezmann. Zlatan,
yeah.
And
Stones,
obviously, yeah. So my 3, as he refers to his notes, Zlatan, Stones, James Rodriguez from Real Madrid. And the only reason I say that is because his agent is George Mendes, and I think that's really important. And what I want to just add before we get into the season awards, I know you're all excited about that, is that we are heavily linked with Andre Gomez tonight. I did the video, researched it through with Drawty a week ago, about the special relationship between Mendes and Mourinho and what that means. Gomez is one of those players, same agent. De Gea is one. Rodriguez is one. There's a defender who's got the same one. I think it might be Laporte, but he's got a bad ankle at the moment. Niguez. I prefer Saul Niguez. There's a video going up tomorrow about Andre Gomez that I filmed just before we came on live here anyway. All about Andre Gomez. Very briefly, 22, 23 in the summer, 6'2", not had a great season for Valencia, Gary Neville, boo-hoo. And he's a creative player, but he's physical as well. He could work well in the Premier League, but he's not got amazing pace. Niguez is the better one. It's just whether we get him or not. Stephen Carey, you're getting right on my nerves. You know what you're doing, and if you carry it on, you won't be on the channel anymore. So let's keep it off, please. Let's have a look at some of your comments then before I decide what the first... And Damarcio, Kev McGee, spot on. He's the one who said that we're after Andre Gomez. Damarcio obviously called Mourinho 3 months before everybody else. Unlike Balaguer, who basically was a bit like the Okie Kokie, in out, shake it all about, sitting on the fence. When do we think Ibra will be announced? I do think it will happen. I think we all agree with that. Zara, when do you think Ibra will be announced?
I'd say very soon, to be honest. I mean, after that interview with him being so blatant and smiling when he was asked about, oh well, what's going on with Manchester United? Are you going to go there? I just think that if he's being that open about his feelings towards Manchester United, then surely it's got to be happening soon, because otherwise he wouldn't, be like that if the arrangements weren't already near the finish line.
Yeah.
That's what I think personally.
Jack West just says his ins are Varane, Griezmann and Ibra. Griezmann's superb work rate. Definitely. I do like Griezmann, and Zara said him as well. And the reason I like Griezmann is I'm not a massive fan of Simeone, and I was getting a lot of stick last night during the Champions League on Twitter. I'm not a massive fan. I don't think he's that different to Van Gaal, other than he knows how to attack. He parks the bus. But the great thing about Griezmann is he's a fantastic attacking player, a bit like Niguez, but they are well drilled in getting back and defending as a team, and that is what Mourinho likes. I think we might try to get some Atletico Madrid players. It'll be difficult though. But back to Zlatan Draughty. I said it had happened this weekend. I'm wrong. The hat-trick will be done. When do you think it will be happening?
I probably towards the end of this week. I think the other thing with Zlatan is because of his marketing rights and all that kind of thing, it's going to take a while to go through. As we saw with Jose this week, if he's got image rights, especially where they're registered and that kind of stuff, these things will take time. I think the deal was being waited until Jose actually came into the club. And then, it's a case of, does Jose actually want Zlatan? If Jose doesn't want Zlatan, he just won't come in. It's all well and good us all saying he's going to come to the club, but at the end of the day, now Jose's here, he's got to decide, does he want to take a risk of a 35-year-old, yes, he's a world-class striker, but does he actually want a season with him when he could be blooding the players like Rashford, Martial, and maybe get a younger striker in for a longevity, Because Zlatan is a quick fix. If you want to win a title this year, you get him in for a year. So I don't expect to see anything until the end of this week.
Okay. I think it will happen. But what I've always said to you is that I wouldn't be surprised. I don't think Morata will happen, but I wouldn't be surprised if Aubameyang happened or Benzema, because I just think Aubameyang wants to go from Dortmund. Pierre Aubameyang, for people who don't know who he is, he wants to go to Real Madrid. He's been quite open about that. But if Real Madrid get him, how do you keep Benzema happy? So I think we'll get Zlatan, but why not get two? We'll just have to see. And Andrew Rossi just asked me about Aubameyang. He's probably 20 seconds behind, so he will get his answer very shortly. But it is the Manchester United Season Awards. I wanted to touch about Mourinho because it's really important to us all, so we just did that little bit there. But it is the Manchester United Season Awards, which actually probably aren't that exciting apart from my quickened voice and a bit more drama. But there's comments in there saying one of us looks absolutely beautiful tonight. Thank you very much. Next shirt and suit. But we will fly into this now. There are about 8 awards to get through. Most Improved Player, Goal of the Year. Some of them are pretty straightforward. I will go to my guests about it. We had a poll on the website. We've had polls on Twitter. And I want your opinions to start throwing in as well. But Sean Price is about to go. The first award we're going to give out, and sort of got to combine all three here, but team performance of the season. Now, the 4 choices were Everton away, which was around October time. We beat them 3-0. I'm coming to you first, Sarah, so pay attention. West Ham away in the FA Cup, where obviously Rashford scored that goal. Everton away in the FA Cup semi-final at Wembley, where we had a good first half. Or the fourth choice was team performance of the season was the Manchester United match-going fans all season.
Oh, Manchester United match-going fans of the season. Definitely.
Yeah, okay. Well, very easy. Draughty?
Match-going fans. I don't think anyone can argue with that one.
No, I thought I'd get an easy one out of the way straight away. I'm not going to mess about. It's probably the worst seasons I've seen in my lifetime that I can remember, because I was very young before Sir Alex Ferguson and at the start of his reign. And at least they were playing football then. We weren't, I think we finished as low as 12th under Sir Alex. But we tried to play football. We never did this year. So I think the match day going fans get team performance of the season hands down, because the performances just weren't good enough. So we've whizzed through one there. Let's get on to a good one. Okay. I like this one. Okay, outfield player of the season. I'll go to Draughty first on this one. Outfield player of the season. Anthony Martial, Chris Smalling, Daley Blind, or Luke Shaw. Don't know how he got in.
Why is Memphis Depay not on the list?
It was close. It was really close. But he finished about 50th.
Out of a squad of 26. That's interesting. No, I'd go with Anthony Martial. I think he's the only player you can go for.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree with that. Definitely Martial.
Outfield player of the year, everybody. So it is De Gea. De Gea, we had to go outfield player of the year because I think if you go player of the year, it has to be De Gea. But I don't think anyone is going to argue with Martial. I will give them... Well, Jack West says Blind, but Martial is just absolutely flying through in the comments there. Martial without a doubt, says United Corner. So we've had 2 quite easy awards off there. Let's go to number 3. Number 3 is... Now, this one is a little bit more difficult. Who shall I... I'll go back to Zara on this one, and I do want to get the comments on this. Young player of the season. And the 4 choices are Marcus Rashford, Anthony Martial, Timothy Fosu-Mensah, or Cameron Borthwick-Jackson. And also, Zara, feel free to develop your thoughts around that, because...
Okay.
The internet scores. I just must add that the team performance and the outfield player do match what our polls had done on both Twitter and the internet. But when it comes to this one, there is disparity. Twitter has gone for one player, and the website poll has gone for another. So down to you, Zara. What are you going to go for?
I'd say all 4 of these are completely worthy of winning this. However, I'd say for me it's between Martial and Rashford. But for me, considering the fact that Martial, won the other outfield player of the season and stuff, I'd have to go for Rashford. For me, Rashford has just shone out of all young players this season and has just completely attacked it. I mean, even on the derby, he attacked that field like no other player.
It's funny because the live comment box is really getting into this, and please do keep going because it's whizzing through, and all I can see is Martial and Rashford. Somebody said, what about Jesse Lingard? He's about 42. He's not. He's about 23, so he's not really a young player of the season. But Beckham Jackson says Eric Rape. Nice one, yeah, but it is Rashford, Martial. So I'll go to Drawty. Zara's obviously going for Rashford. Drawty.
You know what? I mean, Rashford came in halfway through the season, and Martial, when he joined us, was 19. Coming off the continent from France, new league. It's got to be Martial. I know Rashford has been fantastic this season, and he scored on his debut for England, and basically scored on all his debuts with his first shot as well, which was very, very interesting. But it has to be Martial. He's pretty much carried the team for the first half of the season. He's done it all season, and he's not let up. So for me, Martial is the only winner. I know Rashford's a really good player, but this season is Martial.
So Lynn Hall says voted Rashford as young player, Martial as outfield player. You could have done. You don't need to be fair, Lynn. You've got to be cruel to be kind. Kieran's saying another channel do this every year. What? What about Wind? Oh no, he doesn't even play for us, Scorpion. Rashford came late. His girlfriend? No. What's up with these guys' accents? Well, we were born in a certain place, and that's how we talk. Lingard won't start under Jose. Okay, it's gone off on a tangent. Right, I would personally go out of the 2. We've got Rashford, Martial on the live comments. We've got Zara, Rashford. We've got Michael. We've got Drawty, Martial. I would go. I tell you what, it's tough. Let's go to the polls because I think you can make a case for both of them, and I think you both make a really good point. The Twitter poll we put out, which had nearly 2,000 votes, was Marcus Rashford 32%, Anthony Martial 64%, so double. Then the internet poll was Marcus Rashford 60%, Anthony Martial 36%. So it's pretty split. So let's not dwell on it too much. Suffice to say, I'll pick a winner. I would go. Oh God, it's really difficult. I would go. Oh God.
Would you like the countdown clock, Mark?
No. I'm going to go. The real question everyone wants to know is: will Joe Allen win the Ballon d'Or? I'm going to go Marcus Rashford, only because he's part of the youth setup, and we didn't buy him, and that's as basic as I'm going to be. That's as fickle as I'm going to be, because I think you can't split them really. But how lucky we are to have two, to probably our best award. We're talking about young players, and I think both of them have got fantastic futures. So that's the exciting thing. And they've had good seasons under a tyrant, so absolutely fantastic. I think the live comments would have gone Martial, but I'll go Rashford, Young Player of the Year, which I think he won anyway, didn't he? The next one. Our next one. This is going to divide opinion. There's only two choices, Drawty. Fan favourite of the season. The two we went for, unless you're going to shock me and say Fellaini. De Gea or Anthony Martial. He's featuring a lot tonight, Anthony Martial.
The thing is with David De Gea, yes, he's reliable. Yes, he's a world-class keeper. And yes, he's kept us higher up the league than we should have been. But if you're asking for a fan favourite, Martial is the only one who's kind of caused electric in the team this year. De Gea's just done his job really, really well. He's a goalkeeper. That's what he's paid to do. But Martial's the one who's got us off our feet. If you remember that Liverpool goal earlier in the season. As far as favourites go, the only favourite in the squad at the moment for me is Martial. So, yeah, Anthony Martial.
Richard Hill, United Stand Original, says De Gea. A lot of De Gea love. There is a lot of Martial love, but I think De Gea is whacking through. People are saying drunk, Mark. I'm literally halfway through my first can. You can drink beer and not be drunk. There's a lesson in life. There should be a quote for that. You can drink beer and not be drunk. Quotation marks, Mark Goldbridge, 2016. De Gea's getting a lot of love, Zara. De Gea or Anthony Martial, fan favourite of the year.
Well,
and you are
for
a
me,
fan?
Yeah, for me, Spanish Dave is the one. He is the fan favourite. I mean, you talk about he brings that electricity into it. Well, the electricity on when you're there at a match and everything, when everyone's shouting David De Gea and everything. I mean, that is electric, and you see him even when he's got enough. Sometimes when he's waiting for the ball to come to him to save our asses every single week. Instead he's there encouraging the fans and everything. He is a fan favourite, just hands down. He's the definition of a fan favourite.
I'm just looking at one of the polls actually, and I looked at it about 4 hours ago, and somebody was winning it quite comfortably, and they are not winning it anymore. And I'm a bit curious as to. There's a bit of vote rigging, but we'll come to that one later. I think the live comments are very much De Gea, although Martial did get a bit of love. But we didn't put this out on Twitter, we just put it on the website. 72% said David De Gea. He is fan favourite of the season. And if this was Draw TV Zara, I think she's won on the last two. So what's going on? Young Player of the Year. This is a good one. You'll like this one. Did I go to Drawty first last time, or am
Yeah, you went to Drawty first last time.
So I'll come to you first then. Most improved player of the season: Chris Smalling, Daley Blind, or Jesse Lingard.
I'm stuck between Blind and Smalling, purely because I know Blind had some dire performances and stuff. However, I think pushing him out in every single game possible is going to turn around into a well-rounded player. So, yeah, I'm going to go for Blind. Yeah, I'm going to go for Blind this time.
Okay. I would go for... I should give my opinion, shouldn't I? I would go for Jesse Lingard. I've been backing him all season. I think he gets a lot of unfair stick because he's average, and he gets picked because he was born in Manchester. I wouldn't. I'd go for Chris Smalling. Drawty?
See, I would have gone for Chris Smalling. However, at the end of this season, I think he's let himself down with those own goals and that red card in the final. I think he's gone off the boil a bit. And, if he's meant to be England's number one centre-back choice, I question him at the moment. So for me, Jesse Lingard, I know he gets a lot of stick and he was a bit of a knob when he was on the coach making those tongues and stuff, but he has been banging in the goals when he has to. He doesn't do a lot during the match, but he just seems to crop up at the right time. So for me, Lingard... Seeing as this is actually his first season with United properly after the injury last season, for me, it'd probably be Lingard.
Shining Force UK is the only one who I've seen say Lingard and agree with you, Drawty. But I'll tell you what I would say about Lingard. Watch out for him next season, because if he actually does bulk out, he is a late developer physically. If he bulks out, he's quick, he's not got a bad touch, and his technique's quite good. He does pick up on goals. I don't think he's finished at United. I think he could be a good squad player. I think, to be honest, well, I'll tell you now, Chris Smalling won it with about 62% of the votes on the website, and he is getting a lot of votes on there. But actually, when you're talking about most improved, Smalling had a decent end to last season. From the sending off against Man City, he was brilliant, and he sort of continued back but dropped off a little bit. Daley Blind is not a Manchester United first team player, certainly not a centre-back, but in difficult circumstances, he's done all right. I think he has, but most improved or not, I don't know. But Smalling wins that one anyway. I thought it was a good one because it wasn't actually that easy to pick a winner on. So, what have we got next? This is going downbeat a little bit. We're going to bring it down. Letdown of the season. Used to be the Slippy G Award. I think we're going to rechristen it the Louis van Gaal Award because he'd win it hands down, but it's letdown of the season players-wise. Memphis, Phil Jones, Morgan Schneiderlin and Wayne Rooney. I don't really know. I get why Wayne Rooney's in there, to be fair, because I don't think he's had a fantastic season as a captain, but I don't think he's been the letdown of the season. But Zara might think different. Drawty might think different.
Memphis. Sorry, he literally has been the biggest letdown for the price tag and what he allegedly could achieve after he came over from PSV. His attitude's been poor. So for me, Memphis Depay is the letdown of the season.
Yeah, Richard agrees with you. Biggest letdown. Had massive hopes, just hasn't delivered, but could change under Jose. I'm really glad actually, because people normally pick up on things that I get wrong, and I did tweet it out quite a few times from around last April to the start of the season. Get a tenner on Memphis Young Player of the Year, easy money. Nobody remembered that. I've just told you. See, I can be honest, but Zara, over to you.
Well, to be honest, I don't understand why Louis van Gaal wasn't on there.
I said that, but he's not a player.
No, but there is no specification that it says it has to be a player.
Apart from the one I said when I read the award out.
Not on the website.
You just don't listen, do you? You just don't listen.
Not on the website, isn't there?
Women, don't listen to me.
All right. Well, fair play. When you keep, pronouncing Mourinho wrong, what can you expect, Mark? But yeah, I have to agree. I have to agree to some extent that Memphis in the letdown. I feel like really bad calling the letdown though, because to be fair, he did change. You could sort of tell he did change his attitude with the amount of games he lost. But if he did have a lot more games during the end of the season, then maybe he would have shown some light at the end of the tunnel to show that he has got potential for next season.
Aaron O'Shaughnessy says Darmian was a letdown. I agree with you. There's a lot of other players who could have been there. Schweinsteiger, I love Schweinsteiger. He has been a letdown. Schneiderlin has been a major letdown. Herrera's been a letdown. Matt has not been fantastic. Memphis has been a letdown, and Memphis did win this Letdown of the Year award. However, what I would say is my letdown of the season is Phil Jones. At least when Memphis came on against Spurs and we were getting beaten 3-0, he had a fight with Kyle Walker and showed some passion. At least he's worn a Manchester United shirt this season. Phil Jones is just a wage bloody thief. I just think he's an absolute joke, and it really still winds me up that he was part of the FA Cup squad. I don't like him. I think he's a waste of time. I think he's injury prone. I think he needs to get out of Manchester, and he is my letdown. But you know me, I don't get passionate about things. But Thomas Baston says Phil Jones shouldn't be on the letdown shortlist. Are you mad? We'll move on. Next award. I'm not going to do worst performance of the season yet. I will do it, but not yet. Signing of the season. Do we need to do that? There are 4 choices, but when one of them's got 97%, I'll tell you what. Guess who it was, Drawty.
Memphis Depay, wasn't it?
I'm not going to give the answer just yet. Zara, you can have a guess as well.
Martial.
Well, you could have carried the joke on, but you
could have carried on. Yeah, I killed it then.
It was Anthony Martial, and I don't.
But I am a woman and I don't listen.
There's 97% of the vote for that one, so we've got 2 left, and then we will talk a little bit about football again. But we've got 2 left, and one we'll finish on a positive, so we'll go with a negative. Worst performance of the season. There's a massive list. I had to get it down to 4, but worst performance of the season. Arsenal away in the Premier League. I think it was around October time. Terrible tactics in the first half. Against Arsenal away, you sit deep, you let them have the ball. We decided to go all out attack, and they killed us. That's one. Liverpool home and away in the Europa League, if you remember that disaster. Norwich at home in December, and West Ham away just a short couple of weeks ago when we never bothered to turn up. Zara?
For me, it has to be losing to Liverpool, because just losing to those Scousers is absolutely atrocious. I mean, it's just like, it's one thing that, I mean, you can sort of handle, like, losing in a derby, but when it comes to those Scousers, even Man City agree losing to those Scousers is an absolute disgrace.
No.
So that, for me, is the worst performance of the season.
I don't agree with you. What I would say is, in the live comments box, I do love doing the United Stand, and I think we're very fortunate to have some really real educated football fans, and that's what makes this show very, very easy, because a lot of you are saying a certain performance, which I would never doubt you. I'm just very impressed that you were all saying it, because I think it's a real intelligent thinking man's choice. Well done. But or woman, Drawty, over to you.
I'm not going to pick any of them. I'm actually just going to go with Louis van Gaal. I just think worst performance of the season is the manager. You know, if I had to pick one, it would be Arsenal away. We did capitulate for that 3-0 loss, and I think that kind of set the tone for our season. You know, it's been spineless from the start to the finish. Although, you know, the FA Cup was nice, but for me, yeah, Louis van Gaal.
Andy Toretto says Arsenal away by a country mile. I never doubted that Drawty would get that one right to pull a point back against Zara, but so many of you saying Arsenal away, and I'm really, really pleased, because I wouldn't expect anything else from United Stand viewers. But I think the not the easy choice, but a good choice is Liverpool, because they are our biggest rival, and Lynn Hall did as well. Maybe it's a lady thing, but no, I hate Liverpool. I really do hate Liverpool, and I think you're spot on if you've gone for that. But I think 70% of the vote went for Arsenal away, which is also credible, because it's such a long time ago. There are others. Somac says Stoke 3-0. Yeah, awful. But there's loads. There are literally loads. But the Arsenal one for me, when we were at a point in the season where we were still thinking we could win the league, and that was the one. That was when I stopped being back in Louis van Gaal, that performance, because I just thought, that's not about bad luck. That's not about bad selections, which he's always been. That's down to total and utter naivety and stupidity tactically to go and do that against Arsenal, who even David Moyes knew how to be. To just go out and play those tactics, that was when he pretty much lost me as a backer. I'm sure he didn't sleep that night. But I think a lot of people started to change their mind then. So yeah, Arsenal's the one, and fantastic for everybody who said that. You're not wrong saying Liverpool. I'm glad nobody said West Ham, because although we didn't get Champions League football, that probably secured us getting Mourinho. So you could say it was our performance of the year in a way. But final award. Now this is interesting, which is why I've left it last. Well, it's not actually the last award. There's a bit of a gimmicky award, and it really is a gimmicky award now when you hear what the winner is. But we'll go to Manchester United Goal of the Season. Now I think this is the best award. We know, interestingly enough, that Premier League Goal of the Season was Anthony Martial against Stoke. It was the one where we started it from the back, moved it nicely. Rooney passed it over to Martial on the edge of the box, and he put it in the top corner. That is in one of our top four. So we've got that, Zara against Stoke, the team goal. We've got Jesse Lingard's FA Cup final winner. We've got Marcus Rashford's goal against West Ham in the FA Cup. And we've also got Anthony Martial's debut goal against Liverpool. Which would you go for?
Well, I do think Martial's goal against Stoke was incredible. However, I've got to go for the one on his debut against Liverpool, because no one expected it, just came out of nowhere, and he just completely shone. It was like when Rashford came out of nowhere and scored in the derby. There was just that electric feeling that Dorothy was talking about, and that was just the light at the start of the season. I mean, we just thought that was just a little like snippet of what he had, but instead that was just incredible. It just showed like Martial was great back then, and if that's what he's like now, then he's got so much more potential. He's not even reached his peak yet.
Okay, Martial v Liverpool says James Arnold. Rashford West Ham says Richard Hill. Gotta be Lingard's goal says David Nelson. Hold the door says BT. Zara High says Emmanuel. Rashford versus West Ham, the law of attraction. Lingard Cup final, William O'Toole. Darmian goal, UAS, it's not there. Martial v Liverpool, Liverpool all day long. Jesse Lingard, Alfonso. Debut noise, debut against Liverpool, Charles. Paul Gardner, Martial, Liverpool, fantastic introduction. Over to you, Drawty.
I mean, you really could make a case for all of them. Rashford's finish
fantastic
against,
goals,
Rashford's finish against West Ham was incredible, and when Martial scored against Liverpool, it was fantastic. Having been at the FA Cup final though, and in extra time, the way Jesse Lingard took that volley, it was spectacular. He had hardly any time to get his feet in the position, and he just rifled it into the top left corner. And when you see it on the replays, how it comes off the defender, and it takes it straight into his stride, especially to win the FA Cup as well, and almost bring the curtain down on Louis van Gaal's career. Manchester United. Well, it is the end of his career because he's retired now. So for me, it's Jesse Lingard.
Yeah. There's no wrong answer, but there is. But you know how I bring it down to? I think, obviously you were at the FA Cup final, you would have felt there's different feeling in a ground to what there is at home. And I think all those goals are really, really good goals. But the team, I understand why the Premier League gave that team goal, because it was a great goal as a team, and the Premier League are not United fans, and they went, that's a really good goal. But I don't think that. I think that would come fourth. With a United fan, because I just think that was a horrible time for United fans around January when that happened. We wanted Van Gaal gone, and I think all these goals, as good as they are, the winner probably comes out because at that time it was when we were full of hope. It was the start to a season. We had a new signing. It was his debut. We thought we could win the league, and I think that's why Anthony Martial's goal has won this on the polls and in the comments section, because at that time we were 100% behind the team. We were 100% behind the manager, really, and we were excited. And obviously, it was a fantastic debut goal. And I think it comes down to how you remember the goal and how much emotion it gave. And for me personally, it was the Martial goal against Liverpool. I think the Lingard goal was great, but you know what? 10% of me was still really hating what Manchester United were under Van Gaal, even though 90% was ecstatic, and probably higher for the Stoke goal in January. Probably had 20% of me was really fed up. And Rashford's goal, probably 10%. But at the time Martial's went in, it was just 100% excitement. So that gets my vote, and it did win in the polls as well. So there you go. But I don't disagree with anybody else saying any of the other goals. But I think next season we will be back in the team again. So every goal could matter. Somebody just saying about Drawty's accent. We discussed that last week.
There is absolutely nothing wrong with my accent. I don't know what everyone's going on about, so just clear that one up, Mark.
Thomas, there's a few people mentioning full-time Devils in the comments. No problem with that. Don't worry about it. You might. I don't think you'll get blocked for it, but Thomas is an Arsenal fan. Well, you're all welcome. Don't worry about it. The final award is something we do every year for a little bit of a joke on the website, and it was the United Stand Panelist of the Year award. So get commenting. I know what you're all going to start saying, but it's very unfair on the likes of Alex, who nobody likes, and Joey, who's American. And this is the reason probably why Drawty changed his accent, but he still did quite well. But it was essentially between two people, as it was last year. Oh no, Alex was up there last year because he was getting all his friends and family to vote. But this year I was actually winning. But I've just looked there, and with 32% of the vote, I'm in second, and 45% of the vote first is Zara. So Zara, you've won United Stand Panelist.
Yay!
Well,
oh my God.
I think a woman won it last year, and you know what? People vote with their eyes, don't they? Not with their heads.
I'm sorry, is someone being a little bit bitter there, Mark?
I don't do it for the accolades, I do it for the love
Maybe just,
of.
fight back on the bitterness just a little bit at the fact that you've lost to a girl.
No, I'm just reading some of the comments and ignoring any that have your name. Mark all the way, says Nikhil. Mark says Dan the man.
Come on.
Alex.
Hey, Alex is on there.
Alex Bentley Word, and it's not from Alex. David Nelson says Drawty. Of
Right.
course. Okay, we've 40 minutes. We've still got probably about 10 minutes left. We've covered Mourinho at the start. We've done all the awards we needed to. To be honest, last year's award show from the first second for about an hour was fantastic because we had a decent season last year. We've tried to spice it up a bit this year, but we wanted to combine it a bit with Mourinho at the start because that Mourinho, yeah, that's right, at the start. But Alex Joe's been following us since we had 50 subs. Thanks, Alex. It means a lot. And I do want to say, it's not the end of the season. We've got content, more content now than when we had the season going on. There's so much going on. We've got Andre Gomez video up tomorrow. There's always stuff going on. But thanks to everybody this season. It's not been very easy, but I think we've made it easier. Especially the introductions of the watch-alongs have been fantastic because we've been able to share the pain, and next year we'll share the glory. But I personally, and I think everybody else will agree when they get their chance, we're nothing without you, and it has been a fantastic story, the United Stand, and I hope it continues to grow because it is 100% independent and it is 100% about fan opinion. And I know people don't necessarily agree with us. We have been negative this season. We will be positive about Mourinho because we gave Van Gaal 18 months. People forget that. And then we thought enough is enough around that Arsenal performance. And I haven't got a problem with anybody who did that. But Mourinho will get at least 12 months. He'll get longer than that from me because I think he's an absolute legend. But well, hopefully it will work out. But yeah, keep spreading the word. We grow off spreading the word. We haven't got an advertising budget or anything like that. So people who've been with us from 50 subscribers to now, you know the journey, and it's pretty consistent. But give us any questions you want us to cover now. I want to just go to Drawty because we do have a podcast, and the podcast launched on Friday. I've heard it. There's an episode there. Drawty will talk to you about it for a minute while we get some questions up. But the Sunday show will always be on Sunday at 9 o'clock from now on. But on a Monday, it will go up on the podcast. So if you're on the way to work, there's bits you've been missing, or you just want to listen to it at work instead of doing some work, you'll be able to get the podcast to listen to through iTunes, Android, whatever. But over to you, Drawty, just to give us a little bit more, because the podcast isn't me. I will guest on it now and again, but it's not me.
Yeah, so basically, I think we've always wanted to get you guys involved in on the United Stand. So Paul, obviously, is one of our regular panelists, has looked into this, and we've now got our regular podcast, which we just did the pilot for. So what we want to do, really, guys, is get you in on it. We always say we want you on the United Stand shows, and a lot of people don't want to be on camera, and we do understand that. So the podcast is really your way of getting your voice heard if you don't want to be on camera. It's very, very easy to do. We will do it via Skype call. So if you give us your Skype details, then we will ring you up, and you can get in on the call. Usually we will limit to probably 5 people. There are a lot of you who do want to get involved. So if you are involved on our Twitter, United Stand MUFC, you can drop us a message there and say you want to get involved on the podcast, and hopefully we will look to get some of you on here because we will be covering subjects that we don't have time for on the Sunday show. And I know Mark's a big backer of the podcast and wanting to get your guys' opinion on here, so if you join me and the other guys, we look forward very much to hearing from you.
Yeah, I mean, the podcast is nothing to do with me. Paul set it up, Drawty's presenting it. The Sunday show will be, you'll basically get 2 episodes a week on the podcast. You'll get the Sunday show, and you'll also get this other thing that they're doing, which is fantastic. I'm more YouTube. I will go on it, but we want to get you on. Shane was on the Friday show. We will get you on it, so do get involved. There's a link in the video description, just below the description, how you can go to the podcast and download Fridays, which was all about Mourinho. So do get involved. And yeah, I think the podcast is going to work. It's totally new to me. I don't really know much about podcasts. I don't really listen to them. But it's opened my eyes, and hopefully it'll open a lot of yours, because I know a lot of you like that sort of thing. And it's really good quality, so do get involved with that. There was a comment in there from Lynn, which I think we will discuss, because we want to talk about football as well, and not just about the United Stand. But do spread the word about us. Do drop us a like. Organic growth is far better than corporate growth or chucking money at things, I think. So do that. There's a lot of good United channels out there. There's a lot of good football channels out there. And I know that you all watch lots of other ones as well. So just keep getting involved, but do spread the word about the United Stand. That's what we're bothered about, because we will always be real, and we will always get different opinions. TalkSport today had different opinion on Mourinho's demeanour at his press conference, Lynn Hall. This is quite interesting. One view, he looked happy and refreshed. Another view, he doesn't seem as brash and confident anymore. I think first view. I'll go to you on that, Zara. Very quickly, I just think it's about respect. I think he's always wanted the United job. I've said this at the time. I think he wanted the United job when Sir Alex went. I think the club snubbed him. I think it hurt him. He's got the job now, and I think I wouldn't say he's in awe of it. I think this is what he's always wanted, and he's been very careful that he doesn't overawe. Van Gaal always acts as if he was bigger than Manchester United. Sir Alex Ferguson, the best manager in sport history, not just football, always said nobody's bigger than Manchester United. I think Mourinho understands that, and instead of turning up saying I'm the special one or anything like that, which you can do at Chelsea because they're a bunch of mercenaries, I just think it's all about respect for United.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, even in his first interview, he did say, you know what, let's just forget about these past 3 years. I mean, that for me shows the respect that he even like is showing straight away. Not that, you know, he wants to start a whole new, fresh start for United as if, you know, we've never been successful before. He wants to get rid of these past 3 years and stuff and carry on the legacy of Fergie, and that's what he wants to do. So that when Lynn speaks about, you know, that she believes it's the first year, yeah, I believe he is happy and refreshed. I don't believe that, you know, he's brash or like too confident. I mean, he's going to be relaxed in this job now, and he's going to have his own target set in his head, and he's going to want to reach those targets because he's always wanted to be at United, and that's what everyone to realise.
I love it. You know what? I forget about it a little bit, and then when people start talking about it again, I get this elation inside me that Jose Mourinho is Manchester United manager. I'm so happy and excited about it. I cannot wait for this journey to start. Just brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
Another point to add was that when I was filming outside the ground, there was a Chelsea fan came up to me and was talking about Mourinho, and I got it on camera. I'm like, trying to send it to you to upload it on the channel, and we were talking about, you know, if Mourinho did get appointed, and he said he'd be absolutely heartbroken. Every single Chelsea fan out there would be heartbroken if Mourinho came to us. And well, I remember I was speaking to him and he said, you know what, Mourinho's probably always wanted to be at United, and Chelsea fans should know that because you could always see it in his eyes.
The respect. Some of you aren't that old. When we played Real Madrid, Sir Alex Ferguson's last season, Mourinho came out in the press conference. Sir Alex Ferguson retired 2 months later, and he basically arse-licked United. He was like, we didn't deserve to win that game. Manchester United are a fantastic club. Mourinho doesn't do that. He runs up the side and winds the players up. But for United, he's always had respect for us, apart from that very first game for Porto. But I'm absolutely elated by it, and I think Chelsea fans, I get it. I don't respect you. I don't respect Liverpool or City fans. But what? It's just defence. They've just gone on the defence saying, oh, you've got Mourinho, he's a bus parker and everything like that. Deep inside, especially Chelsea fans, they're gutted. When Mourinho got sacked, the players came on the next game and they got booed by Chelsea fans. They didn't blame Mourinho, they blamed the players. And it's the second manager in a row that Chelsea players have down tools for against and got them the sack. So they're gutted about it. But what I wanted to ask you, Drawty, was that the quotes are out there if people want to go and research them. So Bobby Charlton said, I don't think it was Christmas this year, it might have been the Christmas before or the Christmas before that. But the quotes are out there. He was asked what he thought about Mourinho, and he said, I don't want anyone like that at our club. I think referring to the poking in the eye and stuff like that. And the journalist said something along the lines of, well, Sir Alex Ferguson likes him. And so Bobby Charlton replied something like, not that much. He's got the job. That's the most important thing from us fans. He's got the job, and that is, you know, what can't speak, can't lie, ecstatic. But I don't think he'd be stupid as well. And he's not a stupid man. There are people in that Manchester United boardroom who don't want him there.
Well, the thing is, we didn't actually cover this on the podcast last night about people who don't want Jose there. At the end of the day, even if Sir Alex Ferguson doesn't like Jose Mourinho, does it really matter? Because he was the guy who wanted David Moyes to come into the club, and look how that worked out. You know, you shouldn't have a manager picking your next manager, and I don't think, you know, as much as Sir Bobby is a legend and he should always be affiliated with the club, and, you know, he deserves his position there, I don't think it's his job to pick the manager either, to some degree. I think it should always be a business decision based on who's going to be best for the football club. And at this moment in time, Jose Mourinho is the right man for Manchester United. He is the only manager out there with a huge track record that can pull this off. And I really think that every other club before this was just a stepping stone for him to get here. He loves the British media, he loves England, he wants to be in this country, and he did talk about building a dynasty, but that was never going to happen at Chelsea purely because of the club, you know, being ran by Abramovich, who basically wants a win at all costs, throw as much money as he can at the club. Man United is sustainable. It does have a business model unparalleled to any other club, maybe bar Real Madrid. Jose, I think really, if he wants this job this much and he doesn't want to keep hopping around to different clubs, this is his one chance to rebuild a giant, because we have fallen at the moment. The last 3 years have been diabolical. This is his chance to prove to everyone that he can be the biggest manager in the world and he can build a dynasty. I genuinely think he's going to be here for 10 years. I think this is his job, and this is his moment to prove to everyone just how good he can be. And at Manchester United, he's got all the financial firepower to do that, and I really think he's going to be a massive success. So we should be extremely excited.
I totally agree. I just want to say as well, Euros are coming up. We haven't got a bloody clue what to do with the Euros. It's going to be a massive event. We're a Manchester United fan channel. Sunday night has always been the core viewers of what this channel's all about. Sunday night show is the flagship show. Get commenting in the live comments box and tell us what you think we should do for the Euros, because we are a bit clueless, to be honest, as to how we're going to cover it as a United fan channel. So I want to know what you think about that. Joycey touched on it there. Mourinho is basically, we are a great brand, we are a big club, we've been rubbish in the transfer market for probably a decade, and Mourinho and Mendes will bring us into modern football. Whether you like it or not, they will bring us into modern football and how you deal in the transfer market. That's a big, big positive. I also think that there are people within the board who aren't happy at Mourinho. Giggs is a very important thing. We'll probably hear this week. I think he'll stay because with the break of his marriage, he's got kids. Does he want to go off somewhere and have two major disruptions in his life? I'm sure he's really annoyed that he's not assistant manager, but I respect Mourinho coming in and not being bullied into having him as assistant manager like Van Halen and Moyes were. He can have a job in the backroom staff and that's fine. But if he wants to be Manchester United manager, personally, I love Giggs, but he should go and get a manager's job elsewhere. So there are people who aren't happy with Mourinho. There are fans out there who are massively hedging their bets. 6 months ago they were saying I wouldn't touch him with a barge pole. They're now saying he's the only man who can have the job, but I've got my reservations. I'm concerned about this, that and that. Basically, they don't have the balls to say they're not backing him, but they weren't backing him 6 months ago. You've got to back him. He'll prove you all wrong. But there are people out there hedging their bets, and don't think that there aren't people out there waiting for him to make a mistake so they can go, oh, remember what I said, I had a few reservations. He gets my backing 100%. So Bastita says you guys should do a show on every England game. Yeah, good idea. But I think I've covered about everything. Zara, anything you want to say? What are you up to?
What am I up to?
Are you going to Soccer Aid next week for Mourinho's first game?
No,
Mourinho?
Unfortunately, I won't be. However,
let's
encourage everyone to go there because that'll be really good for Mourinho's first game there. As well as say for the Euros and stuff, I have said it before, maybe it'd be really good to concentrate on Manchester United players and transfer targets, how they're doing in the Euros. Because I think that'd be interesting to really interesting to see how our targets and everything and how informed they are in the Euros and whether some of them could even get injuries from Euros and that could be a massive effect on next season, so it'd be really interesting to look into that.
Yeah, well, I did the video for Rashford this morning. If people haven't seen it, should he go to the Euros or not? The obvious thing, the heart says yes, he should, but if you don't support England, I think the head says let him have a month and a half off, and people keep saying, oh, the experience will be good for him, but they don't understand sports science. As a young lad, a month off, he'll grow, his body grows. If he's just playing football all the time, it stunts that growth. So, and people, we demand youth players too much in this country, but he will go because the press will crucify Hodgson if he doesn't take him, and the press love that sort of exciting young player. But over to you, Jawty. Anything you want to touch on about the Euros or anything?
I think it's going to be interesting this summer to see what happens with all the United players and see who we could buy. If Saul Niguez looks a really, really good buy, if we could get him. So it'd be interesting how to see a lot of the Spanish players do on. But yeah, quickly, another plug for the podcast. Everyone just get involved. We really do want to hear people's voices, and that's what we're going to be up to. That's a new outlet for us, and I think that's going to be important for everyone to get involved.
Yeah, it's a channel. It's like the channel for the fans, by the fans. So you may as well get involved. They're all equal in this, and we just want to see everyone's opinion.
Yeah. If you do one thing tonight before you go on YouPorn, click on the podcast link in the video description and just go and give it a listen, because it's totally different to this, and there is an episode up there. So, and get involved in it.
How many beers have you had?
Just one. I really have just had one. Jordan Curley, are you a fan of me? You're massive. Do shows about Man United targets doing well in the Euros, says Curtis Black. I like that. I think that's what Zara said, it's what Georgie said as well. I think we could call it like Euros Watch. There'd probably be quite a few of them because there are quite a few United players in there, aren't there? Got Smalling and Rooney and hopefully Rashford in the England team. Schweinsteiger probably make it for Germany. Unfortunately, no Memphis and Blind, but there are others. I'm not doing Belgium games. Forget it. Not watching that tree. I've had enough of that this season. But then again, there are players like that Real Madrid player. Not Real Madrid. Atletico Madrid player. Is it Carrasco or something like that?
Oh yeah, Carrasco. Oh,
I
he's
don't
great.
think we're linked to him anyway, but I do like the look of him. Stuart Marston, you should do live England games. I was tempted to do the watch-alongs, and we have discussed it, but it's difficult. We're a Manchester United fan channel for a start, and I don't want to start getting loads of people subscribing to the channel and that who aren't United fans. But maybe people.
But
think
considering, like, when we do watch-alongs of England games, to be honest, we'll mostly be talking about like Rooney and things like that. So there'll be like the inkling of, the United touch.
Yeah, and we would do it in the studio, wouldn't we? We'll discuss it a little bit more, but thanks for everybody watching tonight. I know it's bank holiday weekend, but the Sunday show is the Sunday show, and it is our flagship show, like I say, and we do really enjoy doing it. So just keep spreading the word. We don't shut down for the summer. In fact, we probably go up about 50% on input, and I think we all love transfers and stuff. So I'll certainly be doing as many as them as possible, and we've got a lot of ideas, but the Euros is going to encroach on that, so we do need to react to it in some way. Otherwise, we may as well just shut down for a month. But thanks for coming on, Zara.
No problem, and thank you, for making me a worthy winner.
Oh, I forgot about that. Thanks for coming on, Drawty.
That's okay, and don't worry about losing to Zara, dude. You'll get over it one day.
Yeah.
I lost to Anna last year. Where is she now? It's. I'm not saying I haven't murdered her. She's not under my patio, but
I'd be worried if I were you, Zara.
To get you through the day.
She's not on the United stand anymore. So women come and go. It's a bit like my life. But no, I'm not a player.
You're not Hugh Hefner, Mark.
I love your office, Mark. Says Four and Pat. We've got to go. We've done an hour, but thanks everybody. We will be back next Sunday. We were meant to have a prize tonight. Hopefully we will sort that out. I need Zara to get onto that one because it's a good prize and it's getting quite close. So we could do it next Sunday. It's fine. It's a really good prize. And as last year, give us a like. Tell her to give us a subscribe because last year, as soon as the United home kit came out, it was up for a prize. I think it was Josh Carr who won it last year. We will do that again for the home kit, so we will be giving away a home kit signed by Alex. Thanks everyone for watching. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. If you don't live in England, you've got work tomorrow. If you do, bank holiday, or you might be working. You might work in a pub. I'm rambling. Thanks everyone for watching. Speak to you all later and have a good week. And there is content tomorrow, and go and watch the podcast. Link in the description. We'll be plugging the podcast. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Thanks for watching.